Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, you're not in talking terms with me? I said good afternoon. Okay, that's nice. So India, as a nation, though its political integration happened only 65 years ago, as an identity, a national identity has existed for thousands of years. People from the outside world have always communicated with India as a nation, though politically it was many bits and pieces. India's contribution to the world is both profound and multifaceted. Great minds through times from many parts of the world have said too many wonderful things about India. No less than Albert Einstein went out to say that not a single significant scientific step could the modern science take without the mathematical basis from India. Mark Twain went further and said, anything that can ever be done either by man or God has been done in this land. Why are all these scientists, thinkers, philosophers, ancient travelers preening about this nation, preening about this culture? What is it that made it what it was? What is it that makes it what it is? What is it that's going to make us what we're going to be tomorrow? The essential nature of this country is… this must be understood because this is all very mixed up in today's context. One thing about this nation is, this is a nation of seekers. This is the only culture which has always encouraged seeking as the basic process of your life. Once you're born in this culture, you are supposed to be seeking. What? Not going to heaven, not God, not something else. You're supposed to be seeking liberation. This word liberation or mukti has been very misunderstood because the greatest liberation that needs to happen for a human being is to be liberated from one's ignorance, one's limitations, one's compulsive nature, to move into knowledge, to move into enlightenment, to move into knowing, and above all, to move from compulsiveness to consciousness. So we established a system, a science, which we called as Samskriti. The word Samskriti today is going off as culture. Samskriti essentially means… Sam means equanimous. It also means exuberance. It also means well. To generate human beings, individual human beings, who are perfectly equanimous within themselves. Why is this so important? This is being again translated today in English language as being peaceful. This is not about being peaceful, this is about being equanimous. I think there are people who are invested in right brain and left brain and whatever. This is about being equanimous because it's your equanimity which gives you access to everything that is possible within a human being and outside a human being. Equanimity leads to exuberance. Now, people have always understood if you're peaceful, you will be no good for anything. You got to be fired all the time because they understand activity as something that has to be fired by anger or passion or greed. No. The nature that is functioning around us is not fired by passion, not by greed, not by anger, simply on at its fullest capability all the time. Every life upon this planet, from a worm to an insect to a plant to a tree and everything, if the necessary opportunity is there, they do their life at the fullest. Yes or no? You think anybody is doing 92%? They're all doing 100% life because there is a certain equanimity. The problem with the human being is, he is given an intellect which is capable of many things which no other creature is capable of, and because necessary attention has not been paid, necessary time has not been spent as to how to use such a powerful instrument as human intellect. Now, this has become a major problem for human beings. People are coming to me, this is everywhere in the world. Sadhguru, how to be peaceful? They think being peaceful is the highest goal in their life right now. Even the so-called spiritual people are going about talking as if being peaceful is the highest goal in your life. If you wanted to enjoy your lunch, you must be reasonably peaceful, otherwise you cannot even enjoy your lunch. Is that so? Is that so? So peace is not the Z of life, it's the A of life, it's the beginning. If you want to do anything sensibly, you got to be peaceful and joyful, otherwise how else do you do it? There is substantial medical and scientific evidence today to show you your body and your mind functions at its best only when you're in a certain state of peacefulness and joyfulness within you. It cannot be disputed anymore because there is substantial medical evidence to do this. Now, Samskriti means to bring a state of equanimity. If this becomes equanimous, suppose you're riding a bicycle, only if you're in perfect balance of your riding, you will look around, you will enjoy life around, you will want to do something. You're struggling with your balance, are you going to do anything other than just managing to sit on the seat? You are not going to do anything. So equanimity brings you to ease. Ease allows you the adventure of being exuberant with life. Exuberance brings well-being. Exuberance of the body, exuberance of the intellect, exuberance of the life energies brings you to the well-being of life. Or in other words, Samskriti means to do life right, the way it works. Doing something right means doing it the way it works, isn't it? And it's very important. Whatever we do it the way it works. Can it? I'm getting very serious. On a certain day, a man fell into the septic tank. I want all of you to visualize yourself in a septic tank. He desperately tried to come out, he could not. Then he started screaming, "Fire, fire!" His neighbors heard this fire call and they called the firemen. They came rushing, looking all over the place for fire. No fire, no smoke. Then they found this man, they pulled him out and asked, "Why were you screaming fire? Where is the fire?" He said, "If I said shit, shit, would you come?" Unless you do the right things will not happen to you. That is true with the world around you, that is true with what's within you. So Samskriti focused essentially on developing a human being to his fullest capability. Today we're running schools like this, where it's not oriented towards anything, not loading a child with information, just develop the body and develop the mind to the highest possible skill, to the highest possible capability, and anything it can do. A human being, the immensity of being human has been completely missed because no attention has been paid to this. We are always busy, how to fix the world, how to fix the world, how to fix the world. The world need not be fixed. If we generate the right kind of human beings, the world will be a wonderful place to live in. We are the only problem right now, isn't it? Is any other creature a problem on this planet? This is the only one because this came with a higher capability than others. It is like you are given a technology which is… you're not willing to… you're still in hammer and anvil technology, that level of involvement, but you have a very high tech on your hands, you are going to be a disaster. This is what humanity is becoming slowly because the whole orientation is about how to make the world. No, you don't bother about the world. You learn how to make individual human beings into great human beings, the world will be a great place to live. So Samskriti just means this, to bring this equanimity which translates into a natural exuberance and well-being of life. Because only one who is at complete ease with life, he will adventure into anything that's available. One who is not with ease with life will naturally put limitations upon himself and do only what is safe to do and nothing more. Yes? If you can ride your bicycle hands-free, that is when you would adventure some more tricks, isn't it? If you can barely balance, are you going to try something beautiful? No, you'll just… if you reach from point A to point B, that's an adventure by itself. Now this process of what we are referring to as Samskriti is about understanding the human mechanism, because upon this planet, of all the gadgets that we have seen, from the simple phones to computers to whatever we have seen, this is the most sophisticated gadget. Is that so? Do you agree with me at least? Yes. Even if it's not been put to use, do you agree that this is the most sophisticated gadget upon the planet? This is the gadget. Right now, so much attention on the iPhone, the eye has been forgotten completely. Because it's out of this gadget, every other gadget fell out. And this gadget is capable of producing another million gadgets if you allow it to, if you explore it in the right context. Our educational systems, our social structure, general orientation of life upon the planet today that we are culturing it, does not support inward looking. Inward looking does not mean contemplation. Your body and mind is not considered inward because both these things you gathered from outside. The body that you have right now is just the food that you've eaten, isn't it? It's a piece of the planet that you gathered. What you call as my mind is just a heap of impressions that you gathered. This is very accidental and social, nothing existential about it. Right now, if you look at your own lives, you are largely a psychological case, not an existential case. Yes or no? What you think and feel has become far more important than what is real, isn't it so? Yes? Today morning, sun came up on time. You know this? The planet is spinning perfectly well today. The whole universe is going great. Everything in the cosmos, these billions of galaxies are all going perfectly well today. But you have one nasty thought crawling through your head and it's a bad day, isn't it? You lost perspective as to who you are. You have completely lost perspective as to who you are because in this vast cosmic space, this solar system is a speck. In that planet Earth is a super speck. In that Boston is a micro super speck. In that you are a big man. That's the whole problem. Completely lost perspective of who you are. If you want to be an engineer, as many of you are trying to be, if you want to be a manager, as many others are, if you want to be an entrepreneur, the most important thing is you are able to see things just the way they are, isn't it? Yes? That you are able to see things just the way they are. You become a leader in the world not because you go and climb and sit on a tall post. You will become a joke. If you sit on a tall post and you don't see anything better than others, you will become a joke, isn't it so? Yes or no? The idea of sitting on a perch is that you can see better than others. You're able to see something that nobody else is able to see right now. That makes you a natural leader. You don't have to climb a post. If you climb a post, you better see something better than others, otherwise you will be a bloody joke in the world, as many people become, isn't it? Now, Samskriti means just this, allowing this system to raise to its highest possible peak. Because that's the only thing a human being can ultimately do, that this can rise. So is it just about training your body? Is it just about training your mind? No. This is a beautiful incident which happened. When Adi Yogi, we approximate this time somewhere between 12 to 15,000 years ago in the upper regions of Himalayas on the banks of Kanti Sarovar, when he was conducting the first yoga program with only 7 students who are today celebrated as the Saptarishis or the celestial sages in the country. They asked a question, he taught them many ways of doing things. He said, these are the different ways you can achieve your ultimate potential. Because ultimate potential in the yogic system is seen as to be able to receive, to be able to perceive things just the way they are. If you can perceive the whole existence just the way it is, this is considered the ultimate possibility for a human being because only what you perceive is reality. Rest is just imagination, isn't it? Yes? If you want to do anything in this world, you must be able to perceive it the way it is. So, it is seen perception or being able to see everything just the way it is considered the ultimate potential of a human being. What you do out of it, what you don't do out of it is up to you. The times of the history will decide that. Suppose 1,000 years ago, you had an IT idea, okay? maybe you would just remain with the idea and not done anything about it, isn't it? Because what you do and what you do not do is decided by social and world situations. But your ability to perceive is most important. There is no work on human perception at all in the modern systems of education. We believe they will learn on the way. And that's going to be very distressing and stressful, because today I see successful people are the most stressed out people. This is a very wrong message that you're sending to the young people, because if success is suffering, why the hell pursue it? This happened in a big way in the 60s. You should know in this country that in 60s, the young generation thought, what is the point of being successful, because it's anyway miserable, you can see it on their faces. It's written on the faces of successful people that they are miserable lot. So smoking pot on the street side is actually a much better thing to do, at least we're happy. This is the message. If successful people show a miserable face, this is the message, isn't it so? This is the message to the youth, this is the message to the world. Because once this message happens in any society, it is a disastrous society. It is once again rising in this society. That message is going again, beginning to happen. Once that message that success is a bad thing goes across to any society, that is surely down the drain society, it's going there. We have to send the message, see, in your life, whatever you may be doing, whether you're running a major business, or teaching here, or learning here, or just hitting a golf ball, it doesn't matter what you do, but you want to succeed, yes or no? Small thing or big thing, you want to be successful, yes or no? Not being successful is the most distressing thing. Even if you just roll up your tissue and want to throw it into the bin, it has to go, isn't it? Yes or no? Because success is the sweetest thing that can happen to a human being. If you send the message that success is a bad thing, success is suffering, which the world is sending out right now, you just go and see the most successful people, are they a joyful lot? Their only pleasure is they're better than others, which is sickness. That is not joy, that is not success. I am enjoying what other people do not have is sickness, isn't it so? I enjoy what I have, that's okay. But I enjoy what others do not have is a kind of sickness. Right now, most of the success is just being handled like this, simply because we have not paid attention to the most basic ingredient of life, which is myself. So Adiyogi, when he gave the mechanics of life as to in how many ways you can do it, he said there are 108 ways in which you can do it. With the available time, I will not go into the mechanics of why this 108, but anyway, because in the energy system of this body, we recognize 114 major points where the energies meet and redistribute themselves, junction points. Out of these 114, 2 are outside the physical system, so they are for a different purpose. The remaining 112, 4 of them there is nothing much you can do. If you take care of the rest, those 4 will blossom by themselves. So in terms of working with your system, he propounded 108 ways in which you can work. Because this is also seen that the human system is a product of the solar system. Solar system is working like a potter's wheel to generate this body. So they asked, aren't there other ways to do it? So Adiyogi said, unless some dramatic changes happen in the solar system, the human system will not be capable of evolving further. You can learn to use it better and better, but it will not evolve further. It's very uncanny. In the last few years, the neuroscientists in the world are speaking the same language what he spoke 12 to 15,000 years ago. Now, one of the main interests, the computer scientists and others, is wanting to move the computers from carbon-based computers to… silicon-based computers to carbon-based computers, because ultimate goal is to build a huge brain which will manage the whole world and the universe or whatever. But this brain, you want this to grow, people are asking, can we grow this brain somehow? So neuroscientists have come out with this, as you sit here in a restful state, 20% of your energy consumption is in your brain, though it's such a small part of your body. It's a high energy consuming part of your body. If you increase the size of the neuron, the amount of energy that it'll consume will not be sustainable. If you increase the number of neurons and pack them in, then the clarity will go away. So they are saying because of the physical loss, not because of neurological principles, because of the physical loss, further evolution of human brain is not possible. It's uncanny, they're saying exactly the same thing. He said, unless some major changes happen in solar system, physically you cannot evolve further. Today, the University of California did some research on people who are doing the basic practice which is taught as inner engineering, where they found 3 months of practice is leading to approximately 241% higher level of neuronal regeneration than what it is for a normal human being. That means as you grow older, you're getting smarter, not dumb. Generally, it is believed after 35, your intelligence and your neuronal regeneration is going down, but it's actually going up. What this means is not that producing more neurons simply means you're replacing the dead ones quickly. That means you're always current with your intelligence. Now, this possibility, he looked at it and he said, but there is another way. Instead of trying to develop the system, there is another intelligence of a different dimension, but you can make yourself capable of accessing that if you maintain the equanimity in your body, in your mind, in your emotion, in your energies. If you maintain an exuberant sense of balance within yourself, if you're balanced and you're dead, you're peaceful and dead, then it's no good. If you're exuberantly alive and you're balanced, you can access another dimension of intelligence. What did you have for lunch? I saw. Okay, don't tell me, it's okay, I saw. So you eat a piece of bread. If you eat this piece of bread, within a few hours, there is an intelligence and a competence here which transforms this bread into human body, isn't it? Yes? When I say human body or human being, I'm not talking about you, me in this context. As we said earlier, this is the most sophisticated machine on the planet right now. And with what raw material do you manufacture? With roti, dal, bread, apple, carrot, whatever you put in, there is an intelligence here which is capable of transforming that into the highest level of technology. He said, if you access this intelligence, rather than trying to just develop this one, if you keep this equanimous, you can access this intelligence which is this level of competence, then you will live your life magically, not miserably ever. Now, without paying enough attention to this, we are paying too much attention to the planet. Our attention is killing the planet, I want you to know. Maybe we are all psyched up about our technology, our engineering, all this. If we go business as usual, I'm not trying to turn the clock back for all of you thinking of 242 billion and 500 billion, whatever. It could be done in so many other ways. If you just go on as we go, both with industry, business, population, we are expecting, the United Nations is projecting by 2050 we will be 9.6 billion people. 9.6 billion people, heavily empowered with technology. If all of them become active, entrepreneurial, definitely it's a disaster, isn't it? Right now the only safety is 50% of the population is lazy. Yes. See, it's not human intelligence which is saving the planet. It's not human love which is saving the planet. It's not human compassion or sense saving the planet. It's human lethargy which is saving the planet. That is not good. Right now it's the lazy people who are saving the planet. All the industrious people are only consuming the planet at a pace it cannot be replaced, isn't it? In the last 1,000 years, we have become almost superhuman, not even 1,000. In the last 150 years, we've become almost superhuman. What 1,000 men could do, today 1 man can do. Once you have this kind of power, this kind of capability, we need to handle this more sensibly, isn't it? If an ant crawls on your hand, you don't mind, it'll go away. If you are like an ant, it doesn't matter how you walk, you can walk upon anything or anybody. But if you become an elephant, you better be careful where you put your foot. Right now, we are on the verge, right now you're going like a rhinoceros, you will become an elephant. And once you become an elephant, wherever you put your foot, there will be destruction unless we're conscious about where we put our feet, isn't it? So Samskriti is not just about this one. If this one is well, it will make sure everything is well. Right now, action is propelled by dissatisfaction. Action is propelled by negative emotions. Action is not propelled by conscious action. Action has to come forth out of pleasantness within you. In the sense, if I happen to meet you when you're feeling very peaceful and joyful, I'm sure you're a wonderful person. Yes? But if I happen to meet you when you're angry, when you're frustrated, when you're depressed with something, you could be nasty, isn't it? Yes or no? See, about 20% of our time, resource and energy is spent in the prisons, both in South India and to some extent in the United States. And people ask me, Sadhguru, why are you spending time with these horrible criminals? They've done all kinds of things. We are waiting here, we barely get to see you. So I don't see any criminals. All I see is every human being is in pursuit of his happiness. The man whom you call as a criminal also is in pursuit of his happiness. It is just that he pursues it far more vigorously than you. That's all the problem is. You're willing to stand in the line, he wants to jump the line, isn't it? What else is wrong with him? He's also pursuing what you pursue, nothing different. He also wants the same money, he also wants the same happiness, he also wants the same joys of life, isn't it? Only thing is, he does it so vigorously, he doesn't care whether he places your foot on your face or on the floor. That's all the difference is, isn't it? So, as a humanity, as a human being, as a human mechanism, this needs far more attention than it is getting right now. If human beings pay enough attention to this human mechanism, if one realizes the immensity of what it means to be human, we would handle every aspect of life in a completely different manner, in a way that it's good for every life, including ours. Because our well-being is not exclusive of what's happening in the world or what's happening to other life around us. Right now, our intellects have largely become exclusive. When I say exclusive, you think you're special. No, you're excluded, that's what exclusive means. It needs to happen in a more inclusive way. Right now, in your mind, maybe you can't stand the person who is sitting next to you. But what they exhale, you're inhaling, no problem, isn't it? Yes? Life has always been inclusive. What the trees exhale, you inhale, what you exhale, they inhale, and all the time transaction is happening. But in your intellect, if you don't like this person, you are resisting, you become exclusive. But life is happening in an inclusive manner. Your intellect, your mind, your emotion has to serve the life, not the other way around. Once your intellect, once your thought process is working against the life that you are, being happy is once in a way. If I ask you a simple question, you will see most people on the planet cannot raise their hand for this. How many of you have experienced one day, just 24-hour segment, absolutely blissfully? Not one moment of fear, anxiety, tension, stress, nothing, simply blissful, 24-hour segment. Most people cannot say yes to this. See, if one day has not gone the way you want it, that is understandable. If not even one day in your life has happened the way you want it, completely wrong, isn't it? I'm supposed to open up for questions. Please, any kind of question. Yes, please.
Sadhguru, you started talking about the Indian culture. Mainly about Samskriti. So what is this Indian culture? And is this Indian culture under threat, or is it thriving, prospering and making a better world, or is it losing to the bad world?
I did not talk about Indian culture, I said Samskriti. I know today the word Samskriti has been translated as culture. Essentially, Samskriti means the science of developing the human mechanism to its fullest capability. That was our culture. So we produce some of the greatest minds on the planet when the rest of the world has not even thought about anything fundamental. When people were just fighting for survival, we came up with mathematics, music, astronomy, things that have been done in the past, which most Indians are unfortunately ignorant of, is too phenomenal to be ignored. But because we've been under occupation for almost 1,000 years, we produce musicians, mathematicians, astronomers, all kinds of people. So, we got so involved in intellectual pursuit, we didn't have fighting men. So when a few hordes of people came from outside, actually, the initial people who came, they came as bandits. But when they saw it was such an easy run, they became conquerors. They just wanted to rob, rape, loot and run. This is what they did. But then they saw it such an easy run because people are all kinds but not soldiers. Because of that, occupation happened, over 1,000 years of occupation. In spite of that, with swords and guns, serious attempts were made, but still we did not lose it. But today we're kind of losing it to the MTV. I meant money on TV. So, are we going to lose it? No, because what you need to understand is, this is not something that you can gain or lose, but it could become weak. It will wait for its time and again rise somewhere else. But we want it to rise when we are here. That's the most important thing. It may rise after 1,000 years, that's not what we want. We want it to rise when we are here, because Samskriti is not about Indian or non-Indian. Samskriti is about the human nature. Samskriti is not… I'm refusing to use the word culture because it's not limited to a national or geographical identity. Samskriti is about how to do it right within yourself, how to do this life right. This is not relevant to any particular country or particular culture, this is relevant to everybody. In every culture, they have tried to… every human being is always trying to find some way how to do it right. Aren't you constantly battling how to do your marriage right, your profession right, your business right? Aren't you constantly looking at it? It is just that in this culture, they assimilated these things not by looking at the existing situations, but by observing the human mechanism, what it can do, what it cannot do, what is the way to handle this. Right now, people are trying to find solutions based on situations. I had a very funny interaction with a marriage counselor recently, I'll not go into the detail, but he's been counseling people and he came to me and all the mess that he's caused in all these years, he confessed with me and because he looks at these two people and understands their problem reasonably well and arrives with a solution. Okay, next time anybody comes, this is what I'll do. Now these two people will come. It's a unique problem, isn't it? Yes, your marriage is a unique problem, isn't it so? Is it a common problem? No, it's a unique problem. Nobody else creates the problems like you do, they create it in some other way. So now he applies this solution to those people and sees a disaster evolving, and he arrives at a different conclusion and takes this new solution to another people, a series of disasters. We are doing this not just with marriage, we are doing it in the marketplace, we're doing it with the world, we're doing it with our children, we're doing it in every sphere of life, isn't it? We said, this is it today. After 10 years, we said, that was perfectly wrong, this is it, now we know it. So they did not evolve like this. They looked at the human mechanism, what has to happen within this for this to function at its best? If this is functioning at its best, everything that it does will naturally be okay. See, right now, you have a car, you want to go to New York. How to fix the car to go to New York? No, you have the car fixed so that it works. You can drive it wherever the hell you want, isn't it? Isn't that the way to handle any mechanism? This human mechanism needs to be fixed that way. You fix it in such a way, we don't know what life will throw at us. Maybe life will make you an academic, maybe life will make you a businessman, maybe life will make you just a married man. No, sometimes it can become a full-time business. Whatever, life may throw things at you. The important thing is how to be, isn't it? How to manage this one. So, we evolved a whole science and technology. As there is a science and technology, to create external situations. There is a whole science and technology to create inner situations. Today, these things, simple things are looking so complex. For many of you who've grown up in traditional Indian families and moved to the West, it confounds you how such simple things are such a big problem. Childhood is a problem because you're small. Adolescence is a problem because you have hormones, or your hormones got your intelligence got hijacked by your hormones. Middle age is a problem because hormones are going down. Old age is a serious problem because hormone replacement is not happening the way it should. I'm saying every stage of life is becoming a problem for a human being. In all this, to produce something on the outside, the tension, when you yourself are such a big issue, how will you handle outside issues? It is taking such a toll. People are being successful, but they're suffering their success. That's not fair. Because to move from a place of a zero place to move to a successful place, you have sacrificed and done many things, isn't it? Yes or no? So many things are done. Right now the boys should be out having fun, but they're sitting in a university and studying things that are not interesting for them because they believe if they acquire this knowledge, tomorrow they will be successful and their life will be wonderful. They will be successful, life will be wonderful, that does not depend on what you acquired. Life will be wonderful or not will be determined by what happens within you, isn't it? That knowledge is not there means acquiring, which can be easily done. You know, I was in a medical conference. I'm not a qualified doctor, I'm not qualified for anything. My father, being a physician, was so worried. He's not qualified for anything. What will he do? What will he do? I told him, see, if I become something, if I become a doctor, engineer, I can do only that. If I'm not qualified for anything, I can do anything I want. So I go stand in a medical conference and I'm talking to them about something and I'm using all medical terminology. They said, this is not possible. How is it? You must be a doctor. I said, no. Then where are you getting all this information? Well, I'm stealing it from you, you're sitting right here. You studied all those books, I will steal it from you, what's the problem? Because knowledge must be stolen, isn't it? Now, I don't like the intellectual property nonsense, because knowledge must be stolen, you must throw it out. You shouldn't even wait for it to be stolen. It must be thrown out, it shouldn't be walled in. That's what the whole IT, information technology means, to disseminate knowledge without any hurdles. And right now, just see what a hurdle each human being has become within himself, that nothing enters him, nothing leaves him. It's a very constipated consciousness. This needs to change. If you want to see a great world, don't try to work for a great world. We have to work towards great human beings. If great human beings happen, great world is a consequence, isn't it? But we are trying to do it the other way around. So bringing it back into our education systems, bringing it back into universities is very, very important. Our children, it doesn't matter which part of the world they come from, because the national boundaries will become meaningless over a period of time. It is very important the next generation of people come equipped with the capability of being wonderful human beings, that they are not successful and constipated. Very important, isn't it? So it's a technologies of well-being, not a culture. I'm trying to get you off the culture word, because it's a bad culture. Please.
One final question.
The world seems to be obsessed with material development, not really…
I'm sorry, little closer.
Yeah, the world is obsessed with material development, not really spiritual one. The success of individual is measured by salary level, the success of countries is measured by their GDP level. So, moving forward in the long term, do you believe that more countries will shift to measuring success by, let's say, happiness index, similar to Bhutan? Or do you think that focus on material success will prevail?
No. The world is neither interested in materialism nor spirituality. People are only interested in well-being, isn't it? They want to live their life well. If you tell them, only if you have $1 billion you will live well, everybody will go for that. If you tell them the only way to live well is after you go to heaven, everybody will shoot for that, okay? Or if you tell them, if you do certain things with yourself, you could live well, they'll go for that. So culturally we can create orientations, but you need to understand nobody is interested in either money or marketplace or God or heaven. I want you to understand this. They are only seeing it as a means to live well, isn't it? If you have this much money, you can live well. Or if you go to heaven, you can live well. These are different concepts being thrown around. But essentially, people want to live well. What does living well mean? When do you feel well? When you're joyful, when you're pleasant within yourself, you feel well. If your body becomes pleasant, we call this health. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it pleasure. If your mind becomes pleasant, we call this peace. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it joy. If your emotions become pleasant, we call this love. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it compassion. If your very life energies become pleasant, we call this blissfulness. If it becomes very pleasant, we call it ecstasy. If your surroundings become pleasant, we call it success. This is what you're looking for. No, I'm not interested in all this, I want to go to heaven. Why? Because the marketing department from heaven has always been telling you it's a very pleasant place. From the day you were born, if we told you, God lives in heaven but it's a horrendous place, do you want to go there? No, we'll pray from here only, isn't it? So all that you're looking for, every human being, what you're looking for is pleasantness inside, pleasantness around you, isn't it? So, today we understand that unless you have this much market access, you cannot create pleasantness around you. Many people are traveling to United States from every part of the world because people believe surroundings are pleasant. Internally, I'm okay, I'm Indian, anyway I'm peaceful. Let me go to America. People are traveling and coming here not because they have fallen in love with USA, because they believe their surroundings will be pleasant, isn't it? Yes or no? Pleasant means what? With least number of hassles around you. Yes or no? So, people are not looking for materialism or spirituality. They want pleasantness inside, pleasantness outside. Pleasantness inside is 100% doable within yourself. Pleasantness outside needs the cooperation of the people, the situations, the times. Yes? What time are you here? You are very peaceful and wonderful, but there's a war going on in front of you. Outside making it pleasant is out of question, but internally you can be pleasant. So one challenge about this is external situations. When we talk about economics, as people have been discussing economics, they've not been talking technology, they've been mainly talking economics. They're talking about economics because it is a way of creating external pleasantness. And you know all the challenges that they've been discussing, because to create external pleasantness, there is a whole lot of cooperation that has to happen from the rest of the world. But to create inner pleasantness, you don't need anybody's cooperation, you just need some sense within yourself. If you have a working head, you'll create pleasantness for yourself, you will not create unpleasantness for yourself. It happened like this. On a certain day, a lady went to sleep. In her sleep, she had a dream. In her dream, she saw a hunk of a man staring at her. And then he started coming closer and closer and closer. He came so close she could even feel his breath. She trembled, not in fear. And then she asked, "What will you do to me?" The man said, "Well, lady, it's your dream." What's happening in your mind is your bloody dream. Now, right now the problem is not that life is not happening the way you want it, marketplace is not happening the way you want it, the world is not happening the way you want it. Even your dream is not happening the way you want it. At least that we must fix, that's easy to fix, isn't it? Fixing the world, fixing the marketplace, fixing outside situations takes much more effort. At least your dream should happen the way you want it. If you're right now having a pleasant dream, is it nice for you? Yes? This you can fix immediately, isn't it? Outside takes time and effort and cooperation. Thank you very much for being here.